God. So when you apply this to certain situations within your life, there's many verses that you can find applicable to whatever you go through, whatever challenge or trial it may be. And certain things you might face throughout life may be such things like loneliness, emptiness. You might have troubles with friends, financial needs, health needs, whatever it is, right? You can normally find a verse that can help you guide you through that, whatever you're facing. But of course, there might be truths within the Bible that can help you guide you through a certain period of your life. There can also be some truths that people mightn't like, such as there should be a judgment at the end of the day. And you can't serve two masters. You can't serve sin. You can't serve the flesh equally. You can only do one or the other, because one will eventually have desire over the other and stuff like that, and people mightn't like. But of course, there's other scriptures out there that can help guide us through, help with guiding and maybe some actions as well. So such as being able to exhort and teach one another, going to the oversight, seeking wisdom and stuff like that. We can also get from the Bible. But of course, there's those really good truths in the Bible that says that God's grace is the same today, yesterday, and forever. And it's something that we can really hold on to. So I've got some scriptures here. So we're to go to Luke 6:31. I'm just going to read it off the screen when it comes up. So we've heard today about, it was quite funny because when I was thinking about, or what are some truths that we can apply to our life, and normally when there's a truth, you can be able to see it as a real example within your life. So communication was talked about a little bit to begin with Levi, and it's something to continue on here as well. And as you would that men should do to you, do you also to them likewise. So of course, when you think about something like this, you want someone to give you respect. You'd also want to be able to give respect to them as well. And it's something obviously throughout communication, it's something that we should focus on, to show that love, to show that kindness. And it's especially true. And it pretty much becomes innate within us when you go under the waters of baptism, put off that old life, put on that new life. And it sort of becomes innate with you to be able to do these things such as respect and kindness. And the great thing about it, it's simple things to do, to show respect. It's not complicated. And although this Bible was written, ages ago, right? The Bible is still applicable today. The same problems that the people went through back then are the same problems that we face today as well. So there's also there's this dude called Dale Carnegie. He just writes books, right? That's all. He has a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it pretty much just has like this topic right here, show respect and also be able to give praise. And it's the same thing we do, you give praise to God and etc. And it's something that people long for. It's something that it's surprising. Like you think, oh, show respect, it's quite easy to do, or show respect is common sense, right? But not everybody necessarily does it. And some people probably don't even necessarily know that you should show respect depending on circumstances. But it's written in the Bible, and it's like, well, maybe we forget about these things. Maybe we should remind ourselves on how we should conduct ourselves. And it reminds me of a verse that maybe if we don't necessarily conduct ourselves in a certain way, it reminds me of a verse in James 1. You don't need to turn to it. Of course, just being hearers of the word and not a doer is like a man beholding his face in a mirror. Just nothing. And it's something we should try to do to show that love, show respect. But of course, even if we show that love and respect, especially other people as well, not just to one another, that we mightn't get that respect back equally. I mean, you can just think of examples through in the Bible. You can think of betrayal, those such things with friendships. You might be betrayed. You show respect to people, but you get betrayed. Maybe they're unkind back and stuff like this. But you got to remember as well that Jesus went through pretty much the exact same thing. You got Judas, betrayed him. You also got Peter. And not even to mention that in the old Bible, the Old Testament, and you got Israel going back on God, the betrayal there, and even such influential people such as David and then Solomon as well. And there's an interesting thing that Nathan said when you tell people about all the amazing things that happen, why do people leave? And well, within the Old Testament, heaps of people have left, and it is something to ponder about. And as time gets on, people forget, or people just become such a common thing that it doesn't, I don't know, but it just happens that you just don't affiliated with it anymore, and you just go against whatever that truth initially was. And it's important for us not to go into that path as well of just thinking this is just a natural thing and then slowly falling away. Let's turn to let's turn to Mark 16, 17, 18. So as part of a simple truth, pretty good verse right here. So, and they should see, and these signs shall follow them that believe in my name. Shall they cast out devils? They shall speak with new tongues. Next verse. And they shall take up serpents, and if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. And they shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. So once again, a simple truth. We've all received the Holy Spirit. And also it says here that you should lay hands on them and heal the sick. So as we know, as we follow God's instructions, as we receive the Holy Spirit, signs should follow us. So signs can healings. There can be healings, financial needs that have been met, once again, friendship needs or whatnot. Such are those needs that those signs are following that. Once we've heard all about Noel Kavanagh, all those PNG and Vanuatu people healed with maybe it's AIDS, HIV, deaf, blind, whatever it is. These signs are following people who believe, right? Let's turn to Hebrews 13, 5. So this verse, let your conversation be without covetous, don't be envious of what someone else has, whether they got a new car or whatever it may be, great house, and be content with such things as ye have. For he has said, I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. And it's a simple truth. We've all experienced it because we've all gone through circumstances where we felt like we may be alone, or we felt like everything was against us. Whether this such thing, loneliness, and loneliness can be emotional, social, I guess. It's situational as well. There's one point I felt lonely, but this was not an emotional nor social. This was, I'll give some examples first. You could feel lonely, right? Because, someone died, or you're moving to a different place, or you're divorced. But for me, it was when a dog was running at me. That's when I felt lonely. So for an example, I'll set the scene. Me and Nathan used to walk home from school. Now, to walk home from school, to get home the quickest, we would walk the quickest way, right? Walk the quickest way to get home quickest. Makes sense. And in the middle of that way, there's a dog, and there was a house with a dog. All right. The dog was scary. I was in primary school, 10 and 11. Anyway, every time we used to walk past the house, the dog would run up to the fence. I don't know if you remember this, Nathan. But the dog used to run up to the fence and he used to bark like crazy. And it was scary. And we used to run away every time, I swear it was going to jump out. Anyway, so adding to this story. So the dog was over on the other side of the road, and we wanted to avoid it at all costs. So we'd walk on the opposite side of the street, but we still had to walk past the dog, right? The house. So one day, every day it's on top of like a little tiny hill. So we used to creep up on top of the hill, and we would peer over to see if the fence was open or not. And if the fence was open, we had two choices. We either go a long way home, which would cost us about 2-3 minutes, not happening. Or we would have to sneak past on the opposite side, and the dog would be alerted somehow if you turn over and look at it. So if you look at the house, the dog would come running out. So we used to be up really straight and just dart it and not look. Maybe you'd peer out from the corner of your eye, but that was about it. Anyway, the gate was open one day and we gambled it. Now, the interesting thing was Nathan was leading. So he was brave enough to lead. We're like, oh, we'll just do it. We're on the opposite side of the road. We're like, there's a chance, like, because normally the gate's open, the dog's not there, and that happened most of the cases. But this time the dog was there. Now, I'm walking on the other side of the road. Nathan's there as well. We're walking past the house. Next minute, I hear barking. And then the dog starts sprinting out of the driveway to come meet us. First thing Nathan does is run away. The second thing I do is freeze. Now, the dog was going for me, for all fairness, but I froze. And I don't know if you've ever experienced a scary moment in your life, but everything went in slow motion. And I kid you not, every second in real life probably took 10 seconds in my life. It was barking and it was running. And I just remember it was about 2 meters away from me, and I'm on the other side of the road. So I ran across the road, right? It's about 2 meters away from me, and it was sprinting. And I don't know what happened. So the curve, I'm on the path, right? And then you got the curve. It was sprinting full out. I don't know what Nathan saw, but it was just sprinting. And then right on the edge of the curve, like maybe it was probably like less than a meter away, the dog just straight up stopped. And I do not remember what happened after that, but all I remember is the dog I thought it was going to kill me. I thought it was going to bite my leg off or something because it was scary. And then it just ran at me and it just stopped at the curve like a meter away. And I do not understand why it stopped, but it just stopped and I just walked away. And it was weird, but it's a situation, whether I knew it or not, God was going to be there. And God was there and he'll never leave you nor forsake you, no matter what happened in that situation. And we can all apply a situation where we may have felt lonely or we may have felt scared. But the only thing we can rely on in that moment is that God is there. You'll say amen there.